Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so today I'm gonna be giving you guys a story of the weirdest person that I ever got to meet. It was back in college, but just for the sake of no conflict, I'm not gonna present his name. Like I said, it was back in college. It was during a football meeting, and he came in with a duffel bag and some other stuff that he had. I believe he also had a backpack and some other sort of stuff. But there was a bunch of guys right next to me. Some of them I didn't know, some of them I did know. So we all were gonna get to meet each other. And well, this guy asked some dude right by a trash can if he could see the trash can. I didn't actually know what he needed the trash can for until I actually saw what he was pulling stuff when he was pulling stuff out of his bag. He started pulling out this little baggie. I mean, it was about this big, and he pulled out some nail clippers, and I didn't think he was gonna actually clip his nails, but he turned out the guy that actually passed him the trash can. He was like, "Hey, do you mind if I clip my nails?" And we all looked at him a bit weird because obviously you don't clip your nails during a class. Mostly a class filled with a bunch of guys. I didn't exactly know if he was actually going to do it until he started doing it. He actually clipped his nails one by one, and it was pretty nasty. It was disgusting. Some of them even flew. It was like, ding! I was just like, okay, well, that's disgusting. But that's not even the end of it. He felt so okay with doing it, and he asked somebody else if they wanted to do it. It was just very odd. I was like, okay. Well, that was just one of the instances that I ever had with him. Again, like I said, he acts a bit weird, but I mean, he is funny. So, obviously you can tell that everybody was laughing after seeing him clip his nails. Then came up another situation. I was heading to the gym, and one of my friends said, "Hey, have you seen this guy?" I said, "Yeah, I saw him." He was like, "Well, I have a good story for you." And I was interested because, if it's a good story, I want to hear it. So he was like, "So you know him, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do know him." He's like, "Well, guess what?" And I was just like, "What?" He was like, "Well, I went into the restroom, and you wouldn't believe it. The lights were off." Well, he thought since the lights were off, nobody was in there. And he was like, "That's what I thought." And I went in there, and I just started hearing people in the restroom. He was like, I thought it was a lot of people, but it was only just one person. And it was that guy. That one guy. And he was in the biggest stall. And my friend turned on the light, and while walking around the corner, he got to the stall where that dude was, and he was like, "Hey, you good in there?" Because he saw a bunch of clothes on the floor, he heard music, and it was dark, so it wasn't obviously normal to do that. Well, in my perspective, it wasn't normal, and to a lot of people, it wouldn't be normal to do that stuff. But to him, it was normal, so I was okay with it just because, obviously he's okay with it. Well, that's his business. So he told me, he was like, I turned on the light and I asked who's in the restroom. And the guy answers with, "Me, I'm in the restroom, and turn off the light." And my friend was like, "What? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm trying to come over here and use the restroom, and you're telling me to turn off the light?" And then, well, my friend just went and used the restroom, came out, and the dude came out, and he was really angry. He was like, "Who turned on the light? This and this and that." And later on, I confront the guy, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, so like, I heard that, you're without clothes and you're listening to music and have the lights off. were you meaning to do that, or did just someone prank you, or what did it, like, what happened? He's like, bro, I do that just because I like it. He's like, I listen to waterfall sounds, that way I can poop. And I was like, oh, okay. He was like, but that's not it. I like getting naked, and I like turning off the light. And I was kind of confused. I was like, okay. And the thing is I wasn't the only one there, so most of the team heard what he was saying. And I thought it was odd, and in my perspective, I wouldn't turn off the lights because I don't see where nothing's at then. But I was like, okay, my guy, like, if that's what you think it is, okay. I'm not gonna say nothing, but I guess. And he just kept going on. And then another time, this will be my last story about him, because he has a bunch of stories, but this is the last one. Went to my friend Nate. He said, hey bro, guess what he did? And I was like, what did he do? He was like, so one lane is going that way, the other lane is going that way. And he was like, well, you remember him? And I was like, yeah, I remember him. He's like, you know how he has a truck? And I was like, yeah, well, I know he has a truck. He's like, well, I'm guessing this smart guy thought that he was pretty cool enough to park on the other side, facing the other way. So the cars were facing this way, and he was parking this way on that side. I was like, oh, okay, I guess. He said, my friend told me, he was like, well, I confronted him, and I was like, hey man, you know you're not supposed to park that way. He's like, dude, I'm pretty cool, man. Don't worry about it, man. I'm okay. Like, nobody would tell me. And obviously you're not supposed to park on the opposite direction because you'll get a ticket. Later on that day, he comes up to us. He's like, guess what, guys? And we're all like, what? And she was like, well, I got a ticket. And it was funny because it was like, well, why'd you get a ticket? He's like, well, they said I park on the other way, and I'm not supposed to do that. And I was like, okay, that makes bare sense, my guy. I told you before that you're not supposed to do that. And he obviously did it. And with that, we'll be ending the video. You guys, make sure to go like, subscribe, and add a comment. I'll respond. Thank you, and see you guys.